complements the grammarian is the R counter. We do not have an R counter on our agenda. Does anybody want to take on the responsibility of the R counter? I'll give you a little bit of information on R counter. It is a skill set where you're required to listen to what people say. And so it's active listening is a skill set that you'll be using. And you'll be identifying the filler words that people use. For me, it is the word so. I always so from one sentence to the next. And I sometimes breathe heavily or say ah. So those are filler words that I use just so that I don't want anybody to interrupt me because I've got a train of thought going. Do not jump in the way. So does anybody would like to take on that responsibility of R counter? Who doesn't have a role? I'm gonna Uma, sorry. Do you have a role?
Evaluator number 3, but I see 2 speakers.
Let me just close there. Okay, cool, fine. Thank you very much. Lisa? You're gonna be doing the role. Thank you. Wait, let me confirm that. There was miscommunication. Sorry. Are you going to be taking on what role?
Evaluator number 3.
Okay. We've only got two prepared speeches. And a toast. Yes. Needs to be reading the agenda. Thank you very much. Excellent. Okay. So we do still need an arm counter. You're going to have to be joining us at the main table, please. You're just going to have to be actively listening. I'll give you a pen and piece of paper, and you just have to put strikes next to it. Every time I say ah, you just put a strike next to my name, please. I do apologize for putting you on the spot. Excellent. Timekeeper is the next person on our list. Matt, I do have your name as the timekeeper on the schedule. Please tell me your role and responsibility for timekeeper. No, either one. Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. So I am your timekeeper for today. In Toastmasters, timing is very important because very often we tend to go over time in our speeches. And as we become better speakers, as we go out to different events, your timing is limited to a certain amount. As timekeeper, my role is to make sure you stay within your allocated amount. Today, we've got 2 icebreaker speeches, each going for 4 to 6 minutes. If my timing is correct. And I will be tracking your times and later in the meeting reporting on those times. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you very much. Next role player will be the general evaluator. Adrian, I believe that you are general evaluator. Can you tell us your responsibility? Unmute yourself and please tell us what your responsibility is as the general evaluator. No? Matt. Unmute. There you go, Adrian.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Perfect. Thank you.
Oh, that's great there. Okay, my job as general evaluator is to get an overview of how the meeting went, where things went not so good and where things went well. Some of the things that I could start off with right away. Did the meeting start on time? We were only 30 seconds behind or thereabouts. Were the guests welcomed? I assume, because I'm in Cape Town, that the guests were welcome. And then were the meeting roles, I'll be looking at whether the meeting roles were explained clearly. And were there any guests, any newcomers, given the opportunity to introduce themselves? And as far as the introductions of the speeches, was a brief sketch given of the background of the person and the objectives of the speech title. And then moving on to the table topics, were the table topics appropriate? Were the topics introduced in 1 minute or less? Were any special techniques used? I'll be looking at, people have used props or made special gestures that were outstanding. I'll be looking for those things. And were members called on in appropriate order? The first people to be called upon should be those who don't have a role, and then smaller roles, then larger roles. Were guests invited to participate? And then as far as the evaluators went, they provided a good idea as to what's going on, and looking forward to it. So that's basically what I'm doing, trying to get an overview of what's going on, what was good and maybe what was not so good, and where there may be. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Adrian, that's exactly what you have to be doing. Thanks for ticking one of those areas. And thanks for reminding me of what I have to be doing going forward. The next role player that we'll be needing is a table topics master. Right, the table topics master for the morning. That role is open at the moment. We just have to iron that out. It's 1 or 2 issues that we have to sort out there, so that we can be presenting at the same time. But we'll be handing it over during breakfast. So the table topic master, that session is got to do with practicing our impromptu speaking, whereby the presenter will be flashing up specific topics, and you'll have 1 to 2 minutes to talk about that specific topic. Okay, I believe that is all the role players for the morning. Have I forgotten anybody's role? No. Okay, lovely. I would like to just check that all evaluators, have you got your scripts for evaluating the prepared speakers? Lisa, you're still looking for yours. So the 2 evaluators for the morning are, so we've spoken about Andeka, Ivangadi. Have you got a? Okay.
Yeah.
There is an icebreaker, a sheet that you need to follow. You need to be filling in. What do you need to be looking out for?
Evaluation for the course. Yeah.
Okay, fine. Then Carissa, you're busy organizing your evaluation. Okay. Okay, so everybody does have their scripts. Thank you very much. Okay, now that we've got our community set up, we would like those community members to sitting at the round table, if that's cool. So that we know who is the people that are responsible for making sure that this is a successful meeting. Because it can't just be me in the front chair. Everything's just going to completely fall apart. So thank you. Thank you, guys. So I would like to open up the floor. I would like to ask a question. What do you perceive as a good or a healthy community? What does that involve? So I guess you would have to think about what communities are you involved in, and what do you like about that specific community that actually really stands out? So for me, it is within this specific club, is the openness of it, people are very friendly and warming to be helping out. So that's within my community. Let me give you another example outside the community to help you guys out. I have a very close friend who has a cul-de-sac. In the cul-de-sac, they have a park. It's actually a vacant land, to be honest. And he's been given permission to actually set up a children's play area. So he's got one daughter, and he just loves to see his daughter play freely in this secure cul-de-sac. So he has set up a safe, secure environment for his child to be playing with the other community members. So is any other aspects of community that you like to highlight within your environment?
Inspiration, motivation, and knowing that people are behind you is helping you to improve yourself. That is so
Oh, thank you very much. Inspiration and motivation. It is fantastic watching somebody you want them to aspire to this. If you want to become a public speaker, looking for the public speaker and seeing his amazing skill sets that they have. Excellent. Okay. So now for some, yes, Chrissy.
My community being active. So I'm part of a community of runners and walkers. And yeah, basically just keeping healthy and
Like-minded people. It just promotes that good aspect within them. Thank you for sharing that. I also have a community like that. The club is called Ultimate Athletes. It's like a cult. Every time I speak about them, I'm always in pain. Oh, I did so many things. I did this, I did lunges, and I'm in pain. And my friends actually think I'm special with that regard. Thank you for sharing. I would like to now lead into our prepared speaking section. And this section is basically people are going to be sharing their goals and visions within their lives. And what is happening in this specific section is that it's called an ice. We have 2 icebreakers. And these 2 icebreakers is actually just to introduce yourself to the club and for us to develop a relationship. So it just feels a lot easier going forward presenting your speeches. So, but before I get into those 2 specific icebreakers, I would like to start off with the toast of the morning. Every good event needs a toast. So I would like to welcome Matthew to the front to actually give us the toast for the morning, because yes, every great event starts off with a toast. Please can you welcome Matthew Myler. This is Toastmaster.
Every great event has a toast and glasses on the table. So before we get into the toast, I'd like to ask that we each grab a glass with water, even if it's just a little bit. If you're into shots, you can just make it a pour of the glass. Online, if you've got a bottle of water or something close to you, please grab that as we go into the toast. As we begin to enter into a new season of our club, I was inspired to toast to the idea of ascension. Ascension meaning moving up into a different realm or moving up into a different level. Over the past 2 weeks, 3 weeks, we've got a number of people that have been ascending, club presidents ascending into new roles. And we've had friends and colleagues ascending into different areas of their life. So today, I'd like to make a toast to 3 of our club presidents that have been ascending. I'd like to make a toast to Harold Robinson, who recently ascended into the next life. He was one of our club presidents. I'd like to make a toast to Dino Lupini, who has ascended into a new year of life. It was his birthday last week, Saturday. And as president, he has ascended. And I'd like to make a toast to our incoming president, Thandeka, ascending into her presidential role. Ladies and gentlemen, let's raise a toast to ascension.
Ascension. I want to clap instead of toast.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Matt. Love the way that was structured to alleviate the pain of our former president ascending. Thank you for that. Sure. Yeah, that's- Okay. Icebreakers. Prepared speeches. We have 2 icebreakers for the morning. Chrissy and Sylvia. 2 newbies to the club. So we learned at our last meeting how to introduce speakers to the front. And I can't wait to introduce these members going forward, because in a general introduction, you need to give a little personal touch to each introduction. And I can't wait. After hearing your 2 speeches this morning, it's going to be fantastic welcoming you up as, I can't say if you are parents, grandparents, athletes. It's going to be fantastic. So to be looking at what skill sets you do have, we've got 2 evaluators. So I would like to ask Sylvia's evaluator just to stand and yeah, please can you advise us what you'll be looking at when looking at Sylvia's speech.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Good morning, everyone. My name is Oliswa. The purpose of Sylvia's speech is for her to introduce herself to the club and learn the basic structure of the club. Thank you.
I would like just to please guys inform everybody when we are speaking around the table, let's just voice projection. The microphone is actually facing me, so we need to you need to speak loud enough so it actually gets to that microphone. Excellent. Okay. So you guys in the middle there, it's going to feel like you're being shouted at. Sorry. Okay. That's for these people online that are in Cape Town and Tepo. I don't know where Tepo is. Tepo will
I mean,
get
Soweto, sorry.
Soweto. Okay, it's not as far as Cape Town, but it's still a shout. Okay, we'll get to you. Thank you very much. So I would like to welcome Sylvia to the front to present her very first speech, Icebreaker. So please can we welcome Sylvia.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. Good morning, guests. I'm excited to join you this morning in person and to see all your beautiful faces. And of course, to our fellow Toastmasters online. I work as a finance and admin manager. I work for a company called Terraspon. I am a mother of 4 lovely children. And being a mother of 4 lovely children, and these are 2 boys, 2 girls, and they are 3 adults and a little one. I'm normally put in the center when we come to conversations. So I always try to find ways to communicate with teenagers, which normally would come out like my children would always, win and ask me to, Mommy, can you do this? Mommy, can you go for a course? You need to learn how to talk to us. Mommy, how do you manage people at work? Mommy, so I'm always in the corner. And I am from Zambia, though I see myself as a global citizen because I've traveled and lived in many countries. And one thing I realized in my travel is that we are all the same, regardless of where we come from. There's been situations where I've attended meetings or been in a class where there are people from different countries and different professions. And when we were given an assignment, each one explained the assessment in different ways. But when it came to the conclusion, we all came up with the same conclusion. So my thought is that we all are the same. In my spare time, I love to read. I love traveling. I love baking. I'll give you an example of how I look at life. I look at life as a long path. I believe life is not a shortcut. You might be educated, you might be wealthy, you might be beautiful, you might be ugly, but you can never take a shortcut in life. Last month, I had a funny experience. I was going to the gym early in the morning, and on my way, there was some heavy traffic because of load shedding. So I thought to myself and said, how will I get to the gym quicker? So I made a detour, and went into St. Stephen's, hoping I would get through from the other gate. So when I got to the other gate was locked. And I had to make a U-turn and get back to the traffic that had gotten heavier. I just realized that for sure, you can never take a shortcut. Taking a shortcut will make you even get late or miss out in life. So I'm here because I would like to improve on my speech, my presentation, and of course, sometimes my confidence just goes down. So I'm here to take every step that I will. I hold a bachelor's in business admin, a diploma in accounting, and recently I just graduated with an MBA. The bear has broken the ice. I am Sylvia Yumbe.
Congratulations, Sylvia, for breaking the ice. I love it. Did you say you have 3 children?
I have
4 children?
yes.
How many boys, how many girls?
I have 2 boys and 2 girls. The oldest is 28 and the youngest is 9.
Nice age group. Yeah, thank you. Congratulations, Sylvia, mother of 4. A well-traveled. It's going to be exciting hearing the rest of your stories. I'm getting goosebumps with that regard. And I just love the fact that you you listen to your children taking courses on how to speak to them properly. Excellent. Eh? Love that. Cool. Next, I would like to welcome Chrissy to the front, and her evaluator is Tandeka. Tandeka, can you just give us a little, also a pointer on what you'll be looking at for Chrissy?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Chrissy also is giving us her icebreaker. Chrissy recently joined us. She first attended the meeting as a guest, but more than twice. Yes. And then she decided this is my club and joined the club. And today we're really, really excited to hear who Chrissy is. The icebreaker is basically her telling us about who she is and learning the basic structure of a public speech. Ladies Toastmasters, I welcome. Should I welcome?
I'll welcome her.
Thank you. She'll be giving us a 46-minute speech. Thank you,
Chrissy,
Mr. Toastmaster.
before you come up to the front, your speech title? Sorry, I didn't ask that for Sylvia. Manna from heaven. I would like to welcome Chrissy to the front. Manna from heaven. Manna from heaven. Chrissy, please come to the front. Thank you.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters, guests, and everyone online. Right. Today I'm presenting to you my icebreaker, which is titled Manna from Heaven. My name is Chrissy, short for Chrissy Sitole. I was born and raised in Bulawayo, in Zimbabwe, in a family of 7. Growing up in a township was so much fun and adventurous. Amongst my dreams when growing up was the radio. I loved radio and music. My dream was just to work on radio or at least sing. I mean, that's what I grew up doing, just playing music and listening to the radio. However, I ended up pursuing a career in accounting. And today, I run a successful accounting firm with my husband. I am a mother of 2, a 25-year-old son and a 20-year-old daughter, and a grandmother to a 6-year-old. If there is one person who has me wrapped around their little finger, this little angel who's my granddaughter. In my whole life, I never saw this coming so early in my life. They are adorable, beautiful, and the most opinionated creature in the world. Her name is Bonolo. She came to this world so unexpectedly. She's such a dad.
My son, he just finished his matric and he was doing his first year at varsity, starting towards an accounting degree. When boom, this little angel entered the planet. As most parents would wish for their children, education, a good career, a good job, and then eventually settle down. So this was what was laid down for my son. He still had 10 years, if not more, before I could expect a grandchild from him. You know, at first I cringed when my granddaughter called me over. Me, Gogo. But you know, as time went by, it began to sink in. And how amazing it is to be one. It's really, really amazing. Now at 6 years, the hugs, the kisses, the inquisitiveness, and all the stories, all priceless. She is amazing. Even as I stand here today, presenting this speech, she's at home. She came over to see me. She came over for the school holidays. She's such a bundle of joy and a bunch of energy. The endless trips to the park, the storytelling, the watching of cartoons are all stories of my love when she's around. Me and my son have bumped heads a bit because I tend to be more lenient in some instances. But I can't help it. She's my daughter. She's my granddaughter. The heart of our home. She's our superstar. My Wanolo is indeed a man from heaven. Ladies and gentlemen.
Gogo Chrissy. See, honestly, as soon as you said the grandmother, I was like, ooh. This is really interesting. So yes, it is that names are very interesting to be called that. So I've got a daughter, and I wasn't going to be called Dad to English. So I guess that's in Italian. I like to be called Papa. And it sounds really, my cousin used to call his dad Papa. I was like, yeah, you know what, it's just foreign. But now with my daughter calling me Papa, shouting across the house, yes, my heart just melts. And it's beautiful. And yes, so I love that name. I get irritated when she goes, Ino, Ino. What do you, and I just know she wants something specific. So love it. Chrissy, excited to hear about your adventures with your granddaughter and your children going forward. And who you're going to be becoming, who you are, and explaining that to us in the future. The one thing I like about the way that you are communicating is the way that you alleviate your struggles. In the fact that you said you grew up in a township, it was adventurous. Other people would look at it from that different aspect. So I just love that. And there was another way that you alleviated the specific struggles, and it's just from your outlook. And thank you for that. It's very soothing in that regard. Excellent. 2 icebreakers in one day. Love it. So the next section we're going to be leading into is our table topic session. How do you want to structure this? We do need, we're going to take a break, and then because breakfast is only going to be arriving at 10 o'clock. So we're a little bit ahead of time. Okay, cool. I'll check if breakfast is going to arrive at 10. It should. Okay. Okay, lovely. So I would like to ask for our timekeeper just to provide the report for the 2 different speeches. If you know what your time was for your toast, that would be fantastic.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Okay, so for our prepared icebreaker speeches, the time was 46 minutes. We had our first speaker, Sylvia, who delivered her icebreaker speech in 4 minutes and 28 seconds. And then we had Chrissy, who delivered her icebreaker speech in 5 minutes. Both of our speakers were within time. As for Matthew, his toast was meant to be 2 to 4 minutes, and I didn't catch the time. All right, thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.
So we've got 2 minutes, actually 8 minutes just there. I would like to ask somebody from the floor to maybe share with us a community that you are a part of and how you are contributing to that community. Is there anybody online? Tanya, Adrian, Tsepo, are you part of any community that you would like to promote within the club? And maybe just tell us what it's about and how you contribute or participate within that club. Anybody? Okay, there's Adrian and Tanya. Let's start off with Adrian. Sorry, Adrian, you're on mute. Whilst you're on mute, I'll jump across to Tanya. Tanya, please go ahead.
Thank you, Dino. I have quite a few communities, obviously Toastmasters being one of them. The next one is my church community. Let me first tell you the reason why I belong to communities is because I believe that if you can give and or receive and feel good about it, and it makes you feel like a better person or that you've done well, then it's a community that you can identify with. So it's give or receive, and ideally give and receive. And that makes me feel like I, am worthy of being part of that community. So on a more serious note, Toastmasters is there. My church community is very much there. From a business perspective, I have something called the Association, where we have senior entrepreneurs always pushing boundaries and, having discussions about business and, complex problem solving. And then on the funny side, I have previously, this is like half funny, I've previously been a member of an investment club and a book club, but both the investment club and the book club turned out to be wine clubs more than investment and book clubs. I did enjoy and I definitely gave and received, but I no longer belong to those two because I'm older and wiser now that I'm past 50. So there you go, Dino.
I just want to confirm something. That book club, it wasn't, when you say a wine club, it's not WHINE, eh?
No, definitely not. We had to read one book a month and then this thing happened.
It takes me about 3 months to read one book, so I don't think I'll be a participant in that club. Thank you, Tanya. Thank you for sharing with that. Thank you for saying why you're part of, or why you are part of a community. It is about either giving or receiving, but ideally, like there's a perfect synergy between receiving with both giving and receiving something. Thank you. Adrian, over to you. What community
Okay.
are you part of and why?
Can you hear me to start off with? I don't know how to unmute.
No, you're perfect.
Can you
Go
hear-
for it. Yeah,
Okay, that's fine. There's two small communities that I meet with. One is a church group that's in common with what we've just heard now from Jeepers. I have sort of mental numbness. Tanya, thank you. Sorry, Tanya, about that. But yeah, we don't drink wine. We drink coffee and then usually have a meal together. And the other one is Father's Group on the early hours of Friday morning, which is also a church group where we can sort of basically let ourselves be vulnerable in terms of things that are going wrong in our lives, and what are the things that are going right there. So those are the two small communities that I'm involved with. But I want to basically focus mainly on the retirement village where I live, the Douglasdale Retirement Village. There's a lot of communities, gatherings and things going on there. We have a party once a month, really, to celebrate birthdays. We have what we call a gentleman's club, where we meet in the ballroom. There's probably about a dozen of us who get together and try and solve the world's problems. And also we have a walking group every Saturday morning. We do a 5K walk around our village with beautiful surroundings, a lot of bird life, a lot of beautiful plants and creepers and trees that we're familiar with, which is very important to me, just to have that little bit of exercise. I'm very slow these days. I can't keep up with my wife anymore, but so I'm on my own. But yes, just sort of mixing with people, sharing ideas, and just that whole community spirit is very special to me. So that's my community life.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's what happens when you retire. You start getting more and more clubs just to retire. And it's really healthy, to be honest. Adrian, that's exactly how life should be, is in a community base. So thanks for sharing that. Excellent. Okay. And yes, you've actually given us a speech on your father's group with regards to men being vulnerable with each other. It was a touching speech in that regard. So thank you for sharing that in the past. And we are 2 minutes ahead of time. So I would like to break for breakfast. We're going to have round about 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Okay. Okay, we're going to take a 5-minute comfort break, and then we're going to come back, and then we'll start doing two table topics. Are we going to be eating and presenting at the same time? This is going to be fun. We'll do a little bit of juggling here. Okay, thank you guys. See you online and you guys in 5 minutes time. With regards to the evaluators, you can just stay behind and just have a general conversation with regards to the two speeches. Thank you. See you in 5. Thanks, bye. Guys, yeah, so do you know where the bathrooms are? In the front to the left is the ladies, and on the right is the men's.
Do you want you want to listen?
Yeah.
That's how we do it. It's fine. Okay. Okay. I was evaluating. Yeah, but I'm gonna talk about. Yeah.
Yeah.
I found her, she's got a nice voice. Like, not to speak up. And I also could see that she prepared for the speech well in advance because she even had notes. And she didn't use, sometimes when you have notes, you tend to rely on your notes too much. She wasn't relying on them. You could just see when she goes back to a note to turn the page, you could say, oh, okay, she has notes. But so I found that quite good, and she didn't rely too much on her notes. And then, but then she was moving around a lot.
You want to switch this?
It's on the, I need they're not, they're not being evaluated. Her movements were not intentional, like, it was like, it was, I don't know, yeah. So that was never,
Yeah,
eh,
stuff.
so I think even maybe she needs to be intentional about those. There's nothing wrong with moving, but as long as moving to make a point or to engage with audience.
Yeah.
And I liked how she, with the gestures, again, I think she can still improve it, but I liked how when she was talking about the fact that her grandchild has her wrapped around the finger. She even had the pinky there. That was an intentional gesture. Movement. I like the link between this topic. She said man up in heaven and her grandson.
Welcome back, everybody,
Thanks.
for that extended
Everything.
break. You got all your notes, evaluators, lovely. Because now everybody would like to have some fun, okay? So I would like to welcome to the front Matthew, our table topics master for the morning. Please welcome Matthew. Maya. Sorry, it's not stuck. Hold it. I'm going to be sitting with it right here. Okay, perfect. Ladies and gentlemen. I'll sort that out just now. Right, welcome to the table topics session. So as you all know, or for the benefit of our guests, table topics is all about being able to speak off the cuff. This is a good skill to have because very often you may find yourself at a presentation, at a birthday party, and you may be asked to speak on or give a speech for about 2 to 3 minutes. For the goggles, it is definitely going to be something you come across at birthday parties, sometimes maybe even at your next presentation or at the next family gathering. You know, once people hear you say, I'm a Toastmaster, they want you to prove that skill. So this is why we have table topics. We're going to be doing table topics 1 to 2 minutes per speaker. I will be giving you your speech and you will come up to stage and speak for 1 to 2 minutes. Right. So before I start picking everybody, anybody, would anyone like to volunteer? And then I will give you your topic. Step into your fear. Step into your fear. Come on.
Can I manage the PC?
Yes, please.
Hey,
I see you want to stand up. I was like, should I stand up? Should I sit? Okay.
Yeah, I thought you were calling Mangati. But I can, I'm fine.
All right. Tandeka, tell us about a problem in your community that you have alleviated.
In my
A
community,
problem in your community that you have alleviated. 1 to 2 minutes.
Tanya told me,
Please come to the podium.
oh. I remember once Tanya was, I don't know whether it's Tanya or Dino. They said the nice thing about table topics is that they don't have to be true. So in my community, we had a problem with termites. We had termites in our yards, but and as we kept treating the termites as individuals, like you treat termites within your yard. I wasn't aware that my neighbor had a problem with the termites. Then one night, I was coming back from a party. My son was invited to a party and we were returning home in the evening. And as I was approaching the bazaar, to buy at the gate, I saw this big creatures going up the wall because termites come out in the darkness when it's dark. So we didn't even know that they're actually outside our yards, they're on the street, like in the streets. And because of that incident, then we got to learn that it's not only within our yards. And then I started alerting my neighbors and said, look out. Look outside your yard and see if you don't have this problem. We all treated the termites outside our yards, and guess what? Today, nobody has termites in their yard. So I alleviated the termite problem in my community.
Thank you for Tandeka for that speech on alleviating the termite problem in your community. Okay. Next. Tsepo, would you like to go next? Tsepo, you've just come back from the dentist. Your mouth is in pain. Give us your strategy for alleviating that pain from your mouth.
It's quite funny you're asking me this question because like a month ago I came back from a dentist and I think it was, yeah, during daytime I avoided eating anything cold. So that was my strategy to alleviate the pain. And also like before going to bed, also rinsed my mouth with like lukewarm water with a bit of salt in it as well, just to assist in terms of like alleviating the pain. But I mean, like around about midnight, it got a bit extreme. And I literally had to get up and take like some painkillers because I was avoiding taking the painkillers initially. So that's how I eventually got to actually manage the pain as well. But I mean, it lasted for like 2 days, then it got a bit better.
Thank you very much for that. Honest truth, table topic. And just to reiterate, guys, table topics can be made up stories, as Tandeka has mentioned, or it can be truths. Okay. Next, I'd like to call upon Tanya. Okay. Tanya, share with us the most interesting fun fact about one of your communities.
Matt, the sound is a little bit bad. I didn't make that out quite. Can you try again?
Can you hear me? Clearly?
Yeah.
Okay. Share with us one fun fact about your community.
Thank you, Matt. Share one fun fact about my community. I've already shared the wine drinking that came from the investment club and the book club, which is a fun fact. But I think I should probably focus on the communities that I belong to now. I do have fun at Toastmasters, and there's always a good giggle. And when there's in-person meetings, there's a good old-fashioned hugs pre-COVID times. I'm not quite sure if we're going to be hugging when we meet again in person, but I do have fun at the Toastmasters. But probably a fun fact that actually comes from the church is Christmas time. And we have a kind of pre-Christmas party. It's actually a picnic in the church gardens. It's lovely and peaceful. We have close ties to Hot 91.9, and they bring all their loudspeakers and they put on a stage for us. And we have lots of lighting that we put in the garden. You bring your chair, you bring your picnic basket and your picnic blanket. Kids are welcome, and obviously adults, even animals. We have dogs come to this party. But in communion we have diluted sherry, the blood of Christ, diluted sherry. But on that particular event, that particular picnic party, as you get to the church, we each get a proper full glass of real sherry. And it's very funny for me to go to church and have a good old-fashioned drink while sitting in the garden, and then we do a bit of church stuff, but we play lovely music. Everyone ends up dancing, hugging. Okay, it's pre-COVID times again. But we did do the picnic party 2 years ago, respectful of distance, and I look forward to having one at the end of this year. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tanya, for that interesting.
Sorry, Matt, I'm very aware of this morning. All I'm thinking about is alcohol, wine, and now sherry. I don't know.
I think Tanya is going to plan our next party. An official Toastmasters Bryanston breakfast gathering, and you can plan our next party.
No, I can attend and drink alcohol apparently, but I won't organize it. I'm not good at that. Sorry, Matt, back to you.
Okay. Next, I'd like to call upon, we still have time. What time do we have on the clock? Next, I'd like to call upon Adrian. Please unmute Adrian.
It's the right buttons.
There we go. Adrian,
Oh, can you hear me?
yes.
Okay,
I'm going
okay.
to pose to you your question and you can give your table topic on it. Adrian, please share with us how you have grown by being in the Toastmasters community. Apart from getting better at time.
Yes, yes. Okay. Well, I must admit, I really enjoy the Toastmaster sessions. I'm renowned for sort of getting a bit tongue-tied from time to time. But I think the thing I really like about it is the camaraderie, you know, as we heard earlier, in the good old days when we used to get together, the ladies and the men would give each other a lovely hug there. And I must admit I missed that, but the camaraderie is certainly an aspect that I really, really enjoy. And I enjoy particularly the table topics sessions, I must admit, which are the impromptu speeches there. And so I think overall, the part I really like is the camaraderie. You know, you can do silly things and get totally muddled up at times there, which I'm apt to do in my old age, but it doesn't matter at all. So it's the sensitivity people have for each other, I think, is another important aspect that I really appreciate. And I think I'll end there. Okay.
Thank you very much, Adrian. I can't wait to give the timers report so that I can comment on this. But for now, Mr. Toastmaster, I will hand back over to you.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you very much. It's a soft handshake, okay? Got to get practice. Practice that. Thank you very much, Matthew, for that engaging table topic session. Guys, just quickly, the food has arrived. So please, can you maybe just get up and collect your plate? If you want to get that quickly. And then we're going to be moving on to the evaluation session. I just want to collect my notes. So if you want to get up and great. Sorry, everybody online. The physical people are going to be eating physical food. In this next section, so I do apologize for that. Okay. So whilst everybody's getting their food and just getting something to eat, the coffees will be arriving shortly also. I just want to carry on my theme of how do we create a healthy and thriving community? So how do we make a difference? This is what I want to lead into. And I just got 8 pointers just to tick off on how we can contribute to our communities on a day-to-day basis. And just a raise of hands, who does this now and again? So first one was clean up the beach. Maybe I'm just copying and pasting, but cleaning up public areas. So ideally, on my way to work every day, I drove past a communal area, and for the life of me, this communal area was very dirty, like literally old cables lying around, there's no dustbins. And the one day I just decided to take it on myself just to clean up that area because it irritated me to the core. Every time I drove past that place, it was dirty. So I took on the responsibility to clean it because I feel better now every time driving past it. The next thing is to work on something sustainable within your community. Third is to volunteer, to give. Like Tanya says, to give, and hopefully you're receiving something from that. We get that synergy. So donate blood. Anybody donate blood? Matt, well done, cool. Tanya. Tanya. So I enjoy this because you get free stuff and free coffee. So I love it. We have mentoring, we spoke about mentoring. Tandeka spoke about mentoring, giving back to community. Excellent. Organizing a charity event. Who's organized a charity event? Anybody done that? Matt? Oh, well done. Congratulations. That's very amicable of you. I'll get some feedback on what that event was. Shop and local. So that's another thing that's been pushed quite a bit through Proud SA. How do we stimulate an economy is by shopping local. So I think we need to start thinking about where our stuff is being made. And lastly is take part in community events. And like taking part in all these activities and giving back, we actually slowly will start improving your community. Now, I'm happy to see that everybody here is participating in some sort of way. So with that, I would like to welcome our, do we have an evaluation chair, or am I going to be welcoming the general evaluator? Yes. I would like to welcome the general evaluator to the front, Adrian Hyde. Adrian, I would like you to just introduce the evaluators, followed by your general evaluation of the meeting, please.
Okay, well, first of all, I think I'll start off just giving a sort of general picture of what's been going on. As far as the guidelines go, I think they've all been adhered to. One of the guidelines was one of the things, Dina, you said is raise your glasses. I'm in a strange bedroom at the moment. The nearest glass was this that I raised up there. And then I thought I'd look at the name on the bottle, French Lime Blossom Cologne there that I lifted up, but I didn't drink it. Yeah, so I think things went very well. And I particularly congratulate you, Dino, in terms of so many things, ideas that you put together, and Tanya as well, in terms of the theme of the day, alleviate. I think we all go through difficult problems there, and I think some of the points that came up alleviated the situations that we find ourselves in. You know, being retired and wondering what I'm going to do with the rest of my life. You know, just having that community spirit around me makes a huge difference to my life. You know, having people in my life there. And I liked the toast you also mentioned, the word ascension, moving up, us taking new roles. So far as the two icebreaker speeches, I found those particularly interesting. A lot associated with having a good family life came up there, and children, and that's the thing that's important to me. You and I've got 4 grandchildren in my life, and this is the reason why I'm in Cape Town at the moment, to celebrate our 4-month-old Jack. They tried, this is my wife's daughter and her husband, where we're staying at the moment there, and they've been trying for 17 years to have their first baby, and they have one, and this is the reason why we're down here in Cape Town. And well, moving on to Chrissy and Sylvia, thank you so much. We learned all about you, and you know, the whole issue of children came up once again, and I particularly liked the name that your children call you Google. And also I was had a big smile on my face when Dino mentioned that he likes to be called Papa, which was just quite heartwarming to me in terms of the relationships that we have with our children and our grandchildren. So the speeches went very well. I'm looking forward to the evaluations of those speeches, and certainly the table topics went very well as well.
Sorry, Adrian, can I ask
yes.
you can we introduce the evaluators?
Yeah.
Evaluate those two speeches, please.
Yes. The first speech was Sylvia giving her icebreaker. I'd like to welcome the evaluator, Kaliswa. Would you please go ahead and evaluate Sylvia's speech? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Evaluation Chair. Good morning again, fellow Toastmasters, visitors and guests. I am evaluating Sylvia's speech. Firstly, Sylvia, thank you for having courage to stand here and give us a speech. You took 4 minutes, 28 seconds. That was within allocated time. That shows that you had prepared and you took this seriously. For clarity, you were clear in your speech. The speech was motivational. You gave us a good example of what you said about life being short by telling us about the detour you took with the hope of beating the traffic. Vocal variety, you had that in your speech because there was a time when you impersonated your kids when they were asking things from you. You kept good eye contact with the audience and you appeared confident. That was really good. For me, areas of improvements, there were not many, based on the fact that that was your first speech. It was an icebreaker. The only thing that I would say for areas of improvement is you had your glasses in your hand and you did not wear them when you stood in front of us. So that told me that you knew you were not going to use them. You could have left them on the table or on the chair. So something to keep in mind when you do a speech next time. If you have something that you're not going to be using, then you can just leave it and not bring it forth. My fellow evaluators were very impressed about the use of English. When you said we are not the same, there's no shortcuts in life, and mostly that the bear has broken the ice. Thank you so much for giving us a good speech. We're looking forward to your next speech. Thank you.
Back to you, Adrian.
Tandeka is our evaluator. So Tandeka, we're looking forward to your evaluation of Chris's speech. Over to you, Tandeka.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. I'm evaluating the speech of Chrissy Sithole. It was also an icebreaker. Chrissy, we found that you were well paced. You know, you were not rushing through your speech. You were just calm. So that was good. and you were well prepared with your speech because you saw that you prepared your notes. And even though you had notes on the podium, you didn't rely on too much on your notes. You know, you only went to your notes to check the next point. So that was good. We also found that you had a good command of the English language. So no issues there. Like you to raise your voice. You have a good solid voice, not squeaky or what, but just raise it. Speak up. I hope everybody online could hear you. You know how you structured your speech was quite impressive because you gave us a title that says manna from heaven. In your speech, you persuaded us to ultimately fall in love with your grandson. So we could then see the value of this granddaughter, sorry. We could see the value of this daughter and why we're calling her a manna from heaven. So there was a good link between your title and your speech and what you said. So your speech was persuasive. The gestures, you made a good use of when you said your granddaughter has you wrapped around the little finger, that you demonstrated to us the little finger. However, as a point of improvement, you kept moving a lot between the podium and here. And at some point, you were trying to come out to engage us, but as you were doing it more and more, it looked like you were sometimes nervous and it was coming down, you know, to like settle from side to side. So try and look out for those kinds of things, that you shouldn't be moving around unnecessarily. When you started, you were a bit shy. You were looking down, but as you were progressing with your speech, you looked up. So have your confidence, but all in all, we were quite impressed with your speech. You captivated us as an audience. We followed you through, and we're looking forward to the next speech. Thank you.
Adrian, we do have an evaluator for Matthew's toast, Mangadi. Can I welcome her to the front to present her evaluation of Matthew's toast?
Okay.
Sorry. Welcome her to the front.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. I think what I liked about the toast is that this is my 4th meeting here at Bryanston Toastmasters, and it was the first time that we are doing a toast. And I'm looking forward for, more toasts here. When I asked Matthew, what do I need to look for the toast as an evaluator, he said to me that I need to look for relevancy and whether it's inspiring. So the title for the toast was Ascension, meaning moving to the next level. And I think it was more relevant and inspiring to where we are as a club. As you all know, that this is our first meeting for a new year as a committee, as a club, and obviously there is a new committee, and that's what we celebrated, and it was really relevant to where we are as a club. And also that you also shared something personal, us celebrating Dino's birthday. So it was quite relevant to where we are today, and also for us to be a healthy, thriving community I think it was more relevant in terms of, moving to the next level as a club and moving to the next level for some of our members. Thank you.
That evaluation. Thank you, Makari, for doing that evaluation. One of the things I've learned today is basically the proper procedure for doing a general evaluation. This is the first time I've tried to do a general evaluation, and one of the things I love about the club, if you do mess up, you don't feel too bad about it, and you do get the support from all your fellow Toastmasters. Thank you very much. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Excellent. With that, I would like to start looking into the different, our committee members, their responsibilities. We'd like to start following up on their reports. So I would like to start off with the timekeeper's report. Mr. Timekeeper, do you want to come up and just present those times? You're presenting for the evaluators plus the table topic session, right? That is correct. Thank you very much. You wrote on the Excel spreadsheet. Thank you very much. Thank you, Master.
Okay, for times. Table topics, we had Tanya with 1 minute and 30 seconds. We had Tandeka with 1 minute 20 seconds. And then we had Tsepo with 59 seconds. Almost made the 1 minute mark, Tsepo. Well done, well done. And then we had Adrian, who had 1 minute and 5 seconds on his table topic. I always love sharing when Adrian manages to make it on time, because we all know Adrian does go over time and he has been improving. And this is the biggest improvement I've seen. So well done, Adrian. Very, very excited for you. For the evaluations, we had Tuliswa with 2 minutes and 18 seconds. Well done. Tandeka with 2 minutes and 55 seconds, cutting it really close, but well done. And then we had Mangari with 1 minute and 29 seconds. From the looks of it, throughout the entire meeting, everybody was within time. So well done to you guys.
Excellent. I would like to welcome the grammarian. Please, can you provide us your grammarian report for this morning's meeting? Yes.
Thank you, Dino. Thank you, Dino. I'm kind of a positive natured person, so it's not surprising that I have more positive comments than poor English. The one I did pick on, and I'm sorry, Dino, but it's you. You said evaluate the speaker, and for members in the audience, it's very important that one of the mantras at Toastmasters is we do not evaluate the speaker, we evaluate the speaker's speech. And it's a massive difference. So sorry about that, Dino, but it's a nice lesson for the audience to learn about, okay? Now, alleviate, fantastic. We had 4 strikes on alleviate, so well done, Dino, you got 1 in, Seppo, you got 2 in. And I don't even think you knew you were doing it. I thought it was just your natural language. I don't think you planned it. It was just your journey. And then Adrian, you got 1 in there. Very nice. Thank you very much. Now, on the positive language, the language that caught my attention, that flowed so nicely, I had Dino, don't jump in the way when I'm using fillers to think like so and I don't know if I've got your right, but I think it was very descriptive. Don't jump in the way. That. Ascension. And I love the way you then use the various tenses of ascension. You went ascension, you went ascending to various members who are standing up, and then used one that caught me with a tear in my eye, and it's going to happen now again, ascended. Harold, who passed last weekend, was my Toastmasters mentor. So ascended was really good and caught me off guard. But well done, Matt. Very nice. All right, now I've got to wipe the tear so I can read. Sylvia, I am always in the corner. I love that. You could feel the tension of being always in the corner. The next one was, I look at life as a long path, not a short one, not a shortcut. Chrissy, wrapped around my little finger. Beautiful, beautiful description. And again, you can feel it. You don't need to expand it anymore. So much emotion comes across with that. The most opinionated creature in the world. It made me laugh. I cringed when my granddaughter called me Gogo. And the one that I'd like to use to close off, and Chrissy, is from you. Our granddaughter is the heart of our home. That's lovely. Thank you, the Toastmaster.
Heart of home, that's the alliteration? Yes. Lovely. Thanks, Tanya. Thank you for that report. I would like to ask the R counter, how was your report? If you feel comfortable, wherever you like, but come across.
Well, thank you for inviting me to your calendar on my first visit. I don't know if I did a good job, but I've tried. With Matt, I managed to catch only one R, and I didn't catch anything else after that. Sylvia, I managed to catch up at 4, up to 4. And in terms of the feelings, we had so many, I mean, my last count on it, 7,006. My last count on so yeah. And Chrissy, I managed to get only 2 homes, like I think she said, yeah, but this was only 2. That's what I got. And she also had 2 you knows, like, when she's about to start a sentence, like by saying, you know. There I only managed to catch only 2.
Thank you very much. I'm so happy you didn't include me in your count. So glad. Because it would be a page full of just black marks. Thank you very much for that. And I think you did fantastic. Looking across the room, we've done the grammarian, we've done the counter, we've done our counter, we've done the general evaluator. Yes. Is that done? Are we? Yeah. Then we finished, eh? Yeah. And the evaluations. Okay. Yes, we'll get to that. So what have we learned today? So for me, I've learned today with regards to communities is a plethora of communities out there helping others and also benefiting from their adventures. I actually came across a community website. I believe they are based in Cape Town. I think it's Ubuntu. Can someone tell me what that means in, I think it's Zulu? Humanity. Yes. Thank you. And it's actually a lovely website where they actually talk about all the different activities and projects that they are performing. It looks like it's funded by the city of Cape Town. And there's a lot of projects that are happening. So there are activities and communities out there. So I would recommend everybody if you don't have a community that isn't tickling you at the moment, and you feel that there is a need in your life to help, give something, or you want to receive something from helping out, there is communities out there. You just have to 1 or 2 searches, and there is a lot of communities to join. My mother made the comment that she's not an individual that would start something, but she's more than happy to help. So if you're one of those individuals, I'd recommend going that route. So thank you very much for participating in today's event. That is my Toastmasters operation done for the 22-23 season. I would like to hand over to Mr. President who will close up the meeting and talk about some club meeting stuff. So please welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, for the sterling job that you did. I'm sure I speak on behalf of all of us here to say it was a great meeting. Thank you so much. Another round of applause. As we come to the end of our meeting, is there anyone who would like to add on a point, any issue, any last comments from the members? Yes. Mangaji first.
Okay. I think what I like about today's meeting is that we had a theme and it was very much relevant. It was very much educational and there are takeaways from it. And I really enjoyed that. And I hope and looking forward to the next meeting with another team that will be even more inspirational and educational. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Just on a point, this is from a BPE perspective. What I'm doing moving forward when it comes to our meeting agendas is I'm pre-allocating everybody a role for the next 26 weeks. So you'll be pre-allocated a role. And then when I send out the agendas, my goal is to have it sent to you at least 1 week in advance. So when I send the agenda to you, please do confirm or disconfirm your role. For our new members, I will also be adding you guys to the website where you can check all 26 of our agendas in advance. Please just have a look at the email coming into your inbox. If there are any objections to this, please let me know and I will put you on 3 weeks in a row.
No, but just another, is it possible to, if you say 1 week in advance, after this meeting, maybe send it to us straight away, or will you present the next meeting, who's doing what? Because just from a table topics or a Toastmaster role, it does take quite a bit of time to put in place.
Yes, actually, that's a good idea because it's going to be pretty. Yeah.
And just confirm in the meeting to say, yes, I am available. And then, okay, thank you.
Like, I think this is a special meeting for us in a number of ways. But with the closing, I think I would like to remind us that it's important for us to remember that whether we like it or not, we leave a mark in people's lives by interacting like this, making an impact. And I'm reminded of Harold that indeed made a mark on us, on me personally, and through other people, because I was just sharing with that I learned when Tanya was telling us about how some of the things Harold used to say, to her. I kept one lesson for myself when she was saying, as a facilitator, you find that maybe there's this one person in the audience it was difficult. And Harold said, Tanya, just focus on that person and go to that person and engage. That stayed with me. And obviously he came and visited us recently. And so we have wonderful thoughts about him. And it's important for ourselves to remember that whatever we do, we leave a mark, and we better leave a positive mark. With that, I would like to remind our escort to stay behind for a meeting, but have a wonderful weekend. Anyone on point online? No one? Tepo, our guy from Soweto. Sorry, we didn't introduce you. I think you joined late. Can you please introduce yourself?
Okay, hi everyone. Tepo, my surname is Tumiso from Soweto. Yeah, the reason why I wanted to join Toastmasters is just to improve on my communication skills and leadership skills. And yeah, like being in this session today with you guys, I know like I've wanted to join for quite some time, but I had a lot of work commitments, but I've decided to actually make time today to actually join in online with you guys. I wish I was actually there and yeah, just to get the full experience. But yeah, I really had a good time with you guys today. Thank you so much.
Thank
Would you like to?
Thank you, Tepo. Thank you so much. We also have Tuma. Tuma, what's his name? Kave.
Yes.
We have Tuma Kave, and I'm the only person who's able to pronounce his name.
I'm trying in my head. I'm trying. I apologize.
Sorry, and Kolisha probably can pronounce it properly. Tuma, please introduce yourself.
Let's just end here.
Either.
Whatever you want.
My name is Tuma. I live in Fourways. I'm a small business owner, also a radio producer. And I was very excited when she talked about radio because I've been on radio for the past 15 years. I just work behind the scenes. And the reason as I did speak to, as I was saying to Dino earlier on, that I once joined Toastmasters, but years ago, like 2013. And I did only one speech, so I kind of forgot everything. But the most important thing is that I really wanna improve my communication skills, because I have been in, and I still continue to be in leadership positions. And I feel like sometimes I cannot communicate my ideas properly. And I hope that this assists me. Thanks.
Tempo and Tuma.
Thank you.
Looking forward to seeing you again in the club and hoping you learn with us. With that, fellow Toastmasters and those online, have a wonderful weekend. We've come to the end of our mission. I declare the meeting closed.
Hey, hey.
On
2 minutes
time.
early.
Wow.
Yes.
Well done. Well done, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thanks, guys. Thank you very much.
Bye online.
There's no rush. Don't run away.